So this is a message from Archangel Metron. Um, so we're in a new way of being that it's not about pushing and pulling. It's about allowing things to be, and that trusting that what our states are in the moment are perfect for whatever the situation is on the outside. And Archangel Metron's wanting for me to bring up about how, for me, so Mother's Day was really tough for me, and I was all weepy, and I was like, not wanting to really do anything, and just being grouchy, just feeling grouchy and weepy and not wanting to do anything. And I took that as a sign, like, okay, I need to crawl back into bed and just be alone and just kind of have some space. And, but also telling people, like, hey, this is where I'm at in this moment. This is why I'm here. Like, I'm sorry I'm grouchy. I'm sorry, like, that I can't be compassionate to what you're experiencing right now. But this is what's happening. And actually I got a lot of acceptance by bringing up, like, hey, can you just leave me alone? Like, I just need some space to kind of work through this. And then about by allowing yourself to be whatever you're in that moment allows you to work through things very fast. And okay, so then what he's kind of talking about now is about our states are perfect for what's happening for us on the outside. And for me personally, I prefer to, like, do readings or see clients when I'm having a good day and it's easy. And I don't come in and feel, like, emotionally vulnerable. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to be there for the other person. But there's something really precious about showing up as you are and being able to be vulnerable in whatever you're in, and trusting that other person needs that for whatever reason. And we don't have to know the reasoning, but just kind of show up. By showing up in the way that you are allows that person permission to show up in the way that they are. And that is, allowing the universe to come in and work through both parties. And we've had, for so long, not even this life, but lifetimes and lifetimes of having to show up with a mask, to show up how we think that the world wants us to show up. And it works. It's worked well in the past because it wasn't safe for us to be vulnerable, because people would take advantage of that. That if people thought we were vulnerable, then, they would kill us, basically. In the past, we've had lifetimes about that. And so we've had to protect our vulnerabilities, protect our, this special place in us. And we only share it with those that are closest to us, that we deem appropriate, like family or friends. But that way of being has ended. And now it's time to show up in the way that we are, and show up in our suffering and in our pain and in our grief, so other people know that it's okay to bring those feelings out in the world too, because that's the way we're honoring those feelings. So he's wanting me to talk about, on Thursday morning, I had a very bad dream, and I woke up, and when I woke up, I was just, like, so uncomfortable, and I was grouchy, and I was moody again. Monday I was okay, but I was grouchy and moody, and I just started telling people about my dream, about, like, the dream, it doesn't seem that, like, crazy, but I dreamt that I was in this community, and I realized worms were crawling, like big worms, green slimy worms were crawling out of my armpits. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the grossest thing ever. And I was embarrassed, and I went to the doctor in this community, and the doctor was able to pull out these worms. But I just woke up with, like, oh my god, that was, like, the grossest thing in the world. Like, ugh. Just like, ugh. And I was grouchy, and I was just I was upset about the dream, and it just really touched a nerve in me. And, you know, but the more I started talking about the dream, you know, people were very compassionate, and like, my nanny was staying with me, and of course, like, when she's here, when I have house guests, I want to be like happy and being able to show her things and do fun things with her. And you know, but instead I showed her like, oh, it's okay, like, I'm having a bad day, we're gonna need to like readjust our plans, we're not gonna be able to have fun, like the fun day that we had planned. And instead I ended up I have this tree, that's my buddy, so I ended up taking her to my park with my tree. I put a blanket down, I brought my pillow, and I just laid with my tree and just like was there, and she had this chair, and she just sat there and just let me be and do my thing. And eventually, like, I came out of it, and I was fine. And, you know, but I needed that day, and she needed to see that it was okay for her to be vulnerable, because, you know, she's never vulnerable. She doesn't even tell me, like, her problems. And, you know, me trusting that I needed that time, you know, not coincidentally, but the next day, she woke up and she was in a bad mood and she was having a tough day. And finally, I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, are you doing okay? Like, I know something's happening. I don't know what it is. And she, you know, for the first time I've ever seen her cried in front of me. And just kind of told me all these things that were happening in her life that hasn't been able to tell people. And even though she's very close to me, she feels like she has to be stoic and like pretend like everything's okay. But she doesn't feel like that things are okay. She feels like things are falling apart. And, you know, and I was like, well, let's go get breakfast. Let's, you know, be gentle with ourselves. And, you know, we talked about those things, and, you know, and I was able to explain to her, you know, like, we need to have these feelings, and it's okay for you to have this bad day. You know, let's talk about it. And you don't have to fix yourself. This is fine for this moment. And she was able to be grouchy for that day, and not the whole day. By the afternoon, she was feeling better. But we don't know how our actions are affecting other people, you know. And if we go home and we hide our vulnerability or our sadness or our grief, we're not allowing the universe to support us in a way that maybe we didn't understand could be, you know. And so it's important for us to bring our grief or whatever it is that we need, or our tiredness, or, you know, allow that to be in trust, that that's perfect for that moment. And it affects people in ways that we could never imagine. And that's how the universe is working through us, is having us show up as we are. So other people, one, know that they can show up as they are. But two, we just can't fathom the effect that has on someone, you know. And so I'm going to use you for an example, that you called me today and you said you were tired last week. Well, the tiredness, when we're tired, we're open to new ideas. We're not going to fight new ideas. And so when we show up and we're tired, then the universe can give us new information. Because we're not going to fight it, or we're not going to like be in our minds. Because when we're tired, it's hard for us to be in our minds. That when we're tired, we're just in our bodies and we're allowing things to be because we've surrendered to what is. And so the tiredness is perfect too. You know, all these different states are perfect. And the universe is going to coordinate what, you know, whether the universe allows us to be tired so that they can give us new information, or we're tired and the universe gives us new information. It doesn't really matter. But the universe is always conspiring for us at all times. And to take this extra step and realize that the universe is conspiring by maybe making us feel extra tired, or making us feel extra sad, or making us, or allowing us, it's more of an allowing us to feel tired, or allowing us to feel sad, or allowing us to feel grief, or allowing us to feel anger. You know, the anger has perfect purpose too. You know, my annoyance, you know, and me being grouchy, I don't know how that affects other people, but it also allows them to know that I have boundaries, and, you know, I'm not perfect, and you might come at me at a time and I might snap at you, but it's not personal. But don't come back to me and bring that energy to me, because I'm in a fight. You know, that's, that's in our innate place that, you know, like when I'm vulnerable, I'm gonna come at you, you know, and it's not personal. It's not that I want to hurt that person, but I'm feeling my boundaries violated, and that's the way I'm protecting myself, and that's perfect too, you know, because we deserve to feel protected. And if people are coming into our space and we're not wanting that, then, and they're not listening to our words, then we take the next step. There's so Metron's kind of talking about like the proverb about how Jesus, like, if someone would slap him, he would just turn the other cheek to allow them to slap again. And we've kind of taken that, like, you know, if we're spiritual, that we just allow people to take whatever they want from us, you know, that we don't fight back. But that's not the message. The message is, yes, someone might slap us on the cheek, and in some situations, instead of like fighting someone back because that's what they're used to, you know, when someone slaps you on the cheek, that, you know, in the past, people, the first thing they do is slap back, you know, and so that proverb was to be like, well, think outside the box. You know, maybe a slap isn't the best way, but if you turn your cheek and you say, you know, you can't hurt me, you know, slap the other cheek. Mm-hmm. You know, that person, that's going to bring something to that person. Mm-hmm. That's going to make them wake up. And that might be more powerful than if you slapped them. It's about being in your heart and knowing what the best solution is for that person. And it doesn't seem like that would be the best solution, but if you're in your heart and you're in your spirit, that might be the best solution for that problem. But it also might be that someone might be so used to pushing people's buttons and their boundaries, and people just kind of allow that person to walk over them, that they need someone to stand up and be in their power and be like, hey man, it's not cool. Knock it off. You know? Yeah. Pull your shit together. Like, this is inappropriate. Do not treat me in this way. You know? And your mind's not gonna know what the right course of action is. Because it's on such there's no always, you know, if someone's mean to you, you're not always mean back. You have to be in your spirit and in your heart to find out how to move forward in situations. And that's what it's about. It's about knowing that whatever's happening to you in this moment is perfect, and to have faith that you're saying the exact right things in the moment that you're saying them, that spirit is moving through you and giving you the words that you need to say, and trusting. And for me personally, that's, you know, I second guess sometimes myself. And, you know, and when I snapped so it was my roommate. So when I snapped at my roommate, I felt bad, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad spiritual person. Like, you know, I wasn't compassionate. But then when I checked in with myself, I'm like, no, it's not okay. These things aren't okay. And I'm allowed to stand up for myself, and I'm allowed to speak what I want. And, you know, just because that's not what his want is, doesn't mean I get to back down and just be like, okay. You know, and so, but there's no way for us to know, is the bottom line, is that we have to be in our hearts. We have to be in line with spirit to know the best way to handle situations. And so then that goes back to, you know, trusting that whatever you're feeling in that moment is perfect, you know, and allowing it to be. And the more that you allow for whatever you're feeling to be perfect, the more that the universe can work through you. And there's almost, you know, we create our realities. And so when we go in and we're tired and we're like, well, our tiredness is perfect, then we're also creating it to be perfect. And we're opening up and we're allowing for the universe to move through us and allowing the situations that come through. But if we are tired and we are constricted and we're afraid and feeling bad about being tired, then spirit can't work through us. And it's about, you know, and we talked about this about the coin. You know, we trust a little bit, we open. But the more we're open, the more Spirit's going to come through. And so I'm not wanting... Hold on. So I want to go back to another thing that I've used in the past about abundance. And, you know, we're human, and our humanness is scared. And it's good to be scared because it helped us survive for many centuries. And we can't immediately just surrender. We have to do this slow. And with this practice too about trusting whatever you are in that moment, it's not an overnight thing. It's about taking our time. And so I want to bring back up to the clenched fist. And when the universe, and the example I gave before about this was, you know, we can't accept the abundance the universe has if our fists are closed. You know, the money just comes and falls through. The coins fall through. But we ask for help, and we say, you know what, God, universe, Spirit, allow me to trust and that this moment is perfect, that this state that I am is perfect. And that allows us to, you know, like the universe will support us, and we can open our hand a little bit. And when we open our hand a little bit, the universe is going to allow one little coin to come through. We'll get one little coin, and we'll be like, oh, it's safe. It's safe. We can do this. You know, and then we'll trust a little bit more, and we'll open our hand a little bit more. And 2 coins slip right through. And it's a miracle, because how does the coin slip through this little space? But it does, because we're trusting. You know, and so we'll get the reward, and we'll see it's safe. We'll be like, okay, I'm going to open my hand a little bit more. It's safe. And 3 coins fall through, you know? And so we're getting rewarded. And slowly we're like, okay, I got 3 coins and nothing as bad's happening, so I'm going to open a little bit more and see what happens. And as we open a little bit more, 4 coins falls through. And we feel safe, and we slowly, slowly, slowly open up and trust that the universe is there for us. Mm-hmm. But we can't do it overnight. We can't just be like, force ourselves and be like, I'm just going to trust, I'm just going to surrender, everything's going to be okay. Because we're ignoring the ego that's helped us for so long. And so we got to be gentle with that ego. You know, we got to be gentle with our humanness. That's why we're here, is to be human, to have these experiences, to feel fear. And so we want to be slow and compassionate and gentle and allow our bodies and our humanness to have time to do this. So just, you know, be compassionate with yourself, you know, Maggie, about, you know, like that you're practicing and it's not going to happen overnight. And it's happening in the way that it's supposed to happen, and you're going to trust more and more. And the more you trust, the more the universe can support you in trusting in it. You know, it's such a symbiotic thing that as we trust the universe is going to give us more. And that happens with our hearts too, you know, like for Lindy, it's been a long time for her to listen to her heart. And, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to get into the groove of listening and trusting. And so, you know, you're not going to want to overnight just say, I'm ready. But just take your time. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It's been centuries and centuries and centuries of doing the same thing over and over again about not being able to trust, being shown it's not safe to trust. And so let's allow ourselves to take the time to be able to trust, be able to come into this new way of being, to show up in the way that we are, whether we're tired or grouchy or hungry or sleepy or dopey or, you know, let's just show up in the way that we are. But we also, the other side of it is you have to be honest about how you're showing up. So if you show up and you're tired or you're grouchy, other people are still feeling like that the way that you show up is a reflection of them, you know, in the world. So if you need to show up grouchy, let people know, hey, this doesn't have anything to do with you. I'm grouchy because of XYZ. You know, I'm angry because I haven't eaten today. You know, allow people to know, like, and this doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, this is my thing I'm doing, and I'm grouchy today, and this is why. And if I'm grouchy, it's towards you. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You know? But you have to, you know, if you want to show up in the world in the way, you don't want to be grouchy and bite someone's head off. Because that's not helpful either. Doesn't work. Yeah. And you're going to just put that energy out there. But if you show up and you're like, hey, I'm grouchy. I'm really sorry that I'm showing up grouchy, but this is the way it is. I'm grouchy for XYZ. Does that have anything to do with you? If, you know, if I'm not compassionate and loving to you in this moment, it's not how I feel about you. It's just where I'm at in this moment. So please, you know, please take it as it is. And, you know, and you'll feel that the universe kind of surrounds you and is going to comfort you. And, you know, and that hopefully that person, and it's not going to happen all the time. People aren't going to be able to show up. But if you trust, that you'll be amazed with the people that can kind of come back and be like, you know, be inspired by your showing up because they've wanted to do it too and they can't. Or they don't feel like it's proper for them to do that. So, be honest when you show up, but do it in little bits. You know, go to the grocery store grouchy, you know, where you don't know people, you know, and just, if anyone asks how your day is, be honest and be like, you know, I'm grouchy today because of blah, 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 you know, don't take it personal, I'm just feeling grouchy, it doesn't have anything to do with you, and just see how they interact with you. I think that, for me, I was surprised about, like, me being honest about my feelings, allowed that other person to drop their guard and be honest about their feelings, too. You know, and you don't have to fix that other person, just, you know, allow them to show up to be grouchy, too. You know, if that's the way that they want to show up. And then, you know, when you feel comfortable going out in the world and talking to complete strangers that doesn't affect you in any way because you'll never see them again, you know, you're practicing. Start showing up with your acquaintances. You know, you're meeting so-and-so for lunch today and, you know, you're sleepy that day. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of sleepy today, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You know, I was up last night watching reruns on TV or whatever it was, whatever the purpose is, you know, and just see how they respond to you being vulnerable, you know, and then when you do that a few times and you feel safe, start doing it with your intimate friends, you know, show up and be like, I'm hurting today, I'm in grief today, I'm, whatever it is. You know, and then see how that deepens that bond with that person. You know, how you can connect deeper with that person because you're being honest with what you're feeling and trusting that what you're feeling it has purpose for them too. You know, because all of our connections are symbiotic. And we, you know, are models for the people in our lives. And there's going to be ways, and for me too, like, you know, I just trust with my instinct and I say what I feel and think. And magically that other person has been thinking or feeling that same way. And we don't know that until we're honest with them. So, Metron's kind of like, so he doesn't always talk to me. He's kind of giving me a feeling. So I'm just kind of like, trying to figure out how to translate it. Yeah, he's like, the simplest thing about this is everything's perfect. Everything's happening on perfect timing. And everything is so divinely orchestrated you wouldn't even imagine. And that if you can just, like, sit back and allow things to happen around you, that you'll be amazed. It's like when we get caught up in our mind and we think we have to do things, that things get, like, screwy. Because the universe is trying to do one thing and we're trying to do another thing and we're, like, counteracting and we're working against what's already perfect.
Yeah.
So, we just need to, but take our time. We can't overnight do it. It's just going to take time and know that as you make the all you have to do is say that you want this. You know, that you want to be in line with the universe, that you want to know, that you want to trust that everything's working out perfectly. You can just say that as your intention. And then be amazed with the way that the universe is going to start conspiring to allow this to happen for you. And that's what manifesting is. It's just asking for what we want and then allowing it to happen in the way that the universe wants it to happen. Not us. We don't figure it out. We just state what we want, and then we allow the universe to do its job. Just like if you're a restaurant, you ordered food, you wouldn't go in the back and cook your own food. You know? Allow the universe to cook your food. You do the ordering, and then allow the universe to bring the food to you. And then you get to sit back and relax, and you get to enjoy it.
Nice.
You know? So, Metron's like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
Well, thank you for coming through.
He's like, no problem. It's my pleasure.
Oh.
He's like, it's good to mix things up. He's funny. But he's not funny like Michael is. He's funny like sarcastic.
He doesn't
like,
want you to say that.
What's he gonna do? He's dumb. He didn't think that was funny. Yeah. I mean, but they all have such different like personalities. It's just like it's fun to get a different vibe because he's more serious. He doesn't joke around like. Well, we all know Michael's like a little comedian up there. So. Thank you so much, Archangel Metron. That was so appropriate for right now.
Appreciate every word you said.
Aww.
Sure is.
It's all perfect.
It is all perfect. So we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
And so perfect
That
timing.
was great.
2:37.
2:37. Wow.
So you get a nap.
I do. I so love that.
Wonderful.
So love it.
Okay, let me turn this off.